You got the magic touch. It makes me glow so much. It casts a spell.
Good morning and welcome. I'm Rick.
And I'm Tom.
We're Rick and Tom.
And we're professional M&A advisors.
What in the world does M&A mean?
Rick, M&A is a term that refers to the techniques that are used by Wall Street to create enormous wealth.
What are we going to do with it today?
Well, we're going to show these people how M&A techniques work, and we're going to show them how to use them to increase their wealth.
You're going to have to speak different because there's a guy back there that's already fallen asleep.
Rick, it's time for the wake-up exercise.
All right. What do we want to do to wake him up?
Well, everyone out there, think of the date when you want to exit your company, step out the door for the last time. By date, I mean day, month, and year.
So none of this 3 to 5 year stuff. We
No.
want a specific date.
A specific date.
How about an amount?
Yeah. Also put down the amount that you want to last you the rest of your life when you walk out that door.
Is
Now-
that pre-tax or after Uncle's done?
Oh, Rick, just wait.
Okay,
Bear
a
with
number.
me, will you? A number. Now, we know that you have wealth now, and we know that you're going to need more than that when you walk out the door for the last time. The difference will be the value of your company. Now, have you all done that?
Of course they have. Except
Was
for
that a wake-up call?
Sobering.
Sure it was.
Very sobering.
Because there's a big difference between where you are now, where you need to be, and the time that you've got left. So the question is, what can I do to make sure that I get there? So Rick, what can they do?
Well, the most successful business owners apply M&A techniques to grow value, harvest the value, gain liquidity, and reduce risk.
Well, okay, but what does that look like?
Well, we could talk all day, but let's bring the concept of Ed into this deal.
Ed, I know Ed. You're gonna love this. Ed turned $1.5 million into 13.9.
He never really had the $1.5 million. He did, but he didn't. It was the value of his business.
Okay?
So he actually cashed out of his business that was only worth $1.5 million. He sold it for 13.9. These folks aren't interested in that.
Let's show them how we did that.
All right. Basically, there's an organic polishing of the business.
So the first thing Ed did was, as they say in the real estate business, get his company ready for sale by improving the efficiencies of the organization. Is that right?
That's it. He went from a value, just by making a few little changes in the business, he went from a value of $1.5 million to $2.3 million.
No. He must have increased sales significantly and done a whole bunch of things that cost a lot of money, right?
No sales increase at all. Sales maintained a $5 million level. He worked on 4 simple little areas. He moved gross profit up 2%. He reduced expenses 2%.
I can do that.
He took his inventory and created a better management system so he was able to get 1 more turn per year.
I can do that.
And he came up with some unique collection techniques and sales techniques so he could reduce his accounts receivable by 10 days.
Whoa.
Extra money to run the company on those last 2.
I can do all of those things. And that moved from $1.5 million to 2.3?
Yeah.
By golly, it did. Well, okay, so now that he's got a company that's worth $2.3 million, lucky Ed, what else is he going to do to get to that 13.9 that he wants?
Well, we're to those these M&A tactics, and I guess probably the easiest, simplest tactic that would be least expensive would be to do a free acquisition.
A free acquisition?
Sure.
Is that sort of like free cash?
Sort of. I've never had anybody give me free cash.
I've never had anybody give me a free acquisition. Show me how it's done.
All right. what we're looking for in a free acquisition is a company that isn't 100% healthy or they have a situation of some kind.
Oh, I've seen a lot of those companies where the guy, he's kind of run out of steam and the company's really not worth anything. He can't sell it for anything. So he's maybe even going to just close the doors.
Well, two scenarios come to mind. One is the person who's ready to retire and he hasn't got enough earnings for someone else to go borrow money and buy the business. The other one would be the guy that has a lot of debt and doesn't have the earnings to service the debt. Either way, they have a problem. One is more urgent than the other, but we find those folks.
So how does Ed benefit from that?
Ed finds Dick. He's got this company that's doing $2.5 million. Dick's only able to make about $30,000, $40,000 out of the business. So it doesn't even pay for the assets in the business. By taking that acquisition target and putting it inside of Dick's company, inside of Ed's company, then we've got a company that's doing $7.5 million. We consolidate our overheads, get rid of the rent of Dick's place,
Yeah,
and
all those expenses.
overheads that go with it. So we're basically moving incremental sales over, and most of Dick's gross profit falls to the bottom line.
Ed's bottom line.
Ed's bottom line.
So let me summarize.
All right.
Ed makes an arrangement with Dick to assume his customers and to pay Dick a commission as sales come from those customers.
We never said we were going to pay him a commission.
Yeah, but you got to do right by Dick.
Yeah, okay, but we're helping Dick out of a bad situation. He's going to have to liquidate his receivables and inventory at
Not
cents
anymore.
on the dollar.
Not anymore. We're going to help him collect his receivables because they're coming from the customers that Ed now has. And we're going to sell off his inventory as demand requires. Okay?
Buy it as we need it.
Okay. Well, that's good for Dick, and it's great for Ed, huh?
Yeah,
And Ed doesn't pay anything for this, does he?
zero. Well, when he gets $1 of revenue, if he's going to pay a commission, he pays a commission once he collects. But it doesn't cost him anything. I mean, he's only sharing what was given to him.
So with this free acquisition, Ed took his company and turned it into something worth $7.7 million
That's the number.
through efficiencies, which increased his capacity, which allowed him to take advantage of this free acquisition. And the free acquisition, he got to 7.7. Well, that's not quite 13.9, but so what's the next step?
Well, there's other techniques that can be applied in and around this merger and acquisition framework we're talking about.
It's those 7 techniques that they refer to when they say M&A.
Absolutely.
Those are what?
Funding, buying, free or otherwise, selling, recapitalizing, merger, or take public, or forming alliances. Do we get 7?
Those 7 techniques are what can be used to create wealth with any business owner, not just on Wall Street. Okay?
Not just Ed.
We're not just Ed. I love
Ed's
that.
not special.
So what's Ed going to do? Out of those 7, what other one is Ed going to use?
Well, let's show them a recapitalization. Ed can use all kinds of things, and a lot of them don't cost anything, but we'll do a recapitalization because, Ed built a value now by doing this free acquisition. He's got 777 in value.
Yeah?
He doesn't really have any debt, and we had him do the little wake-up exercise. Remember that?
Yeah?
He's got 10 years he wants to work, but he's already passed the value date or the value amount he wanted.
So he wants to get something out of this so that he can have a little fun.
Why not? It's like a poker game.
So he got
Let's take
$6 million too?
Well, we're going to take chips off the table. We're going to get Ed $6,200,000 out of the business and leave him in a majority ownership position.
67%.
That's right.
That's majority.
Yeah. Now,
Well-
the way we do that is
Yeah.
real simple. We use some of the financing that's available out in the marketplace that's not available at your local bank. We get debt to the tune of about $5.5 million. No personal guarantees. We're not just taking money out of one pocket and putting it in the other. It's real dollars coming out. Now, when we're all done, we're going to have a company that's leveraged versus debt-free. But Ed's got the money in his pocket, and he's back in the poker game with enough chips to play with the game he's already on.
So the
but he can also use his financial partner to get into another game.
So the company has $5.5 million in debt that is not secured by Ed,
Right.
and and the company has the cash flow to support that debt.
Yes.
And then the company takes on a minority partner, a financial partner, who buys 33% of the company because they have seen the growth and understand that Ed gets it with these M&A techniques and feels that they can use other techniques to help grow the company even more.
All they have is money. They don't want to mess with operations. They'll give you a little guidance, but they're going to leave you alone.
So that prepares Ed for the next M&A technique, which is a full-blown acquisition.
A real one. We're going to spend money on this one.
Okay, let's take a look at it.
Let's make it exact. To make it easy numbers, we'll make it exactly like Ed's company.
Good.
It's another company doing $7.5 million, same margin, same earnings, etc.
So the end company then is a $15 million company with, because I know M&A math on the earnings part,
Yeah,
1 plus
1.7,
1
yeah.
doesn't equal 2. It equals $5 million. So they got a company with $5 million in earnings and a value of $22 million.
But we got to take the debt out of that. We'll assume we leveraged it 100%.
Wait a minute. A value of $22 million. You got a company with a value of over $2 million and a company with a value of how did we get to the 20? Oh, there's a multiplier, an earnings multiplier of 4.5. That's what we used on this one to get to the $22 million.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you subtract the debt
Yep.
and you got a company that's worth $11 million. Ed owns how much of that?
67% is all he gets. He sold 33%.
Help me with the M&A math. How much does he get?
Oh, he gets $7,700,000.
Plus the $6 million too that he got from the earlier transaction.
First payday, $6 million. Second payday, almost $8 million.
So that gets him to his 13.9.
13.9, more than he ever expected.
It is
More than he ever
brilliant.
hoped for.
So what are Ed and the minority partner, financial partner, going to do next to grow it beyond the value that it has now?
Well, they're going to look at the alliances, the free transactions, another real acquisition. The sky's the limit.
Your touch, and now I've learned I can return the magic touch.